Has anybody proven that
Michael?
Are you done? Michelle Obama is in fact a man.
Hold it. Run that back. Pause it.
There, freeze that.
Full screen.
Hey, freeze that.
Tighten up on that way.
Move in. More.
Zoom in right here on this spot.
I enhanced the detail and
Lock on and enlarge the Z-axis. Can you clear that up any?
I don't know. Let's enhance it.
Carlos Reyes on the humble show. Yeah, we all in, we all in. So grab your boys now, cause you know we all win. Lift your hands up and give them praise. Blessed every day, full of grace. Yeah, we all in, we all.
Welcome back to the All In Podcast, where the truth is unedited. I am your host, Carlos Reyes. To my right, I got the most interesting man in the industry, Mr. Zady. To the center, I got Mr. Phil Laconte. To my left here, I got Mr. Garret Jors joining us today. And to my other left, I got Mr. Born Closer, a.k.a. Adrian Salgado. Fellas, a lot has happened in a week.
Yeah, a lot of people falling out of a coconut tree, that's for sure.
The coup was out.
You know, what I will say is, I feel like where we're headed.
I don't get it, Daddy.
What is it? Unburden, right? Unburden. We
By
shouldn't
what
be
has been.
burdened, but what should be. What is it? What's the?
Unburdened by the past.
No,
Something
bro.
like
How do
Unburdened
we
by
not
what has
know
been.
that? Huh?
Something like that. Unburdened by what has been, or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Unburdened by what has been.
This is some liberal arts stuff.
It's crazy. Anyway, that's Kamala Harris,
Definitely a tongue
aka
twister.
what do they call her? Word salad Kamala or something,
word
right?
salad. She said, I watched the interview yesterday and said, we are realizing that, realizing when you realize something.
Oh my God.
And
It's
that's
so
why we
true.
came to the realization about realizing.
It's
And
so
I'm like,
true.
what the fuck?
It's so
is
true.
she
Yeah,
laughing?
it used to remind me of early on when we started doing like some sort of education, real estate. Like sometimes I would just kind of throw a word salad
I've
out there
seen
to
you do it.
sound important.
Hey guys, how is it going? I've seen you actually do it.
So that's why it's so recognizable, right?
By the
'Cause I
way,
used to do that.
can I ask y'all something? Like, where are we finding these people? I feel like there's people, with the exception of Zady, obviously. There's
Grindr?
people right in this room. I'm just joking. Zady can actually do a better job than some of the people that are in office. What I'm saying is, there's people in this office right here, right in this building, that can potentially do a better job than some of the people we have in office today.
For sure.
Where are we
actually trust
finding these
Sadie's
people?
Judgment.
Oh, well, think
What
of
I
this.
thought
do a
I
lot
thought
of
the
research.
government is supposed to be the cream of the crop,
Well,
right?
you don't want the best of the best running the world. You want people you can control.
I think it,
Oof.
I got it first.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You want to say something?
government job is just like government assistance. It's the people that are willing to do it. I mean, being a senator, being a president, even in this case, I mean, the pay is not great.
No, it's not.
The pay is
It's
not
low
great.
six figures for sure.
Yeah. So
But you do
But they
get
don't-
insider trading.
I was just about to tell you, I don't think, guys, if we are going to sit here and believe that their income comes from their government salary, we're not living in this world,
I don't
right?
think anybody believes that, though.
Like I believe, with the amount of lobbying that happens in Washington, with the the bills and the policies that are passed, the speaker contracts and the whatever appearances and all that, I think that's where they make a lot of their money if they become
gurus.
popular politicians, right? That's when
Right.
they begin to not people now bring, hey, I got this oil deal. You're right. I got this oil deal. Can you make sure this and this and this gets done, right? And it could be at the city level. It could be right. It could be at the county level, the city level, the county level, the state level, or the national level. And again, I'm just going to say, what's the word? Allegedly, right? This is what I allegedly hear happens, and that's how people make their money. I mean, let's talk about Nancy Pelosi. In my opinion, bro, I'm not a big fan. I don't think that she's the sharpest tool in the shed, the lightest, the brightest bulb in the ceiling. You know what I mean, right? I really don't. I don't think she's that bright, but yet, she manages to. She's a better trader than most professional traders out there, right? She's an economist, probably even better than Ray Dalio. But I don't know if you guys remember that picture. The stupidest thing I've ever seen this lady do was when the whole George Floyd thing went down. Do you remember them? I think they were like at a city hall, and they put on African colors. And they put on masks and they kneeled and they were like it's become a big show. It's a circus, bro. And it's disgusting. Honestly, I feel like we deserve better.
You know what the cause of all this is?
Well, what?
You know what the cause of all this is?
What is it?
No term limits. Like you could be a senator
for 50 years, like Biden?
That's ridiculous. Like, how do you not get corrupt? What's that Superman saying or something, or the Batman saying, where it's like, if you're a good guy for a long period of time, eventually you become a villain.
A bad guy. Yeah.
Something like that. Same thing. If you're a politician for 50 years and you know how to hustle the system, you're telling me you're not going to hustle the system? No, they're going to learn how to hustle the system, then they're going to hustle the system.
I think they know how to play the game right. I think that Democrats have the ability to find the people who have the money to fuel them in the direction of whoever the puppeteers are or the composers. They know how to fund the right people so that they are in charge behind the scenes. But I also think that in this next election, we're going to watch the media do something remarkable. They're going to make Kamala look like a superstar.
Oh,
they're going to program, predictive. They're going to get in everybody's brain.
It's already happening.
It's happening.
I saw a huge shift like in the last
overnight.
week.
I said this on a couple podcasts ago. I still don't believe that Trump's going to win, bro.
That's
unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro.
Look what's happening in Venezuela. Did you guys see what's happening in Venezuela?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So the old dictator, right, Hugo Chavez, right, the ex-president of Venezuela, he was followed by, his predecessor, right, which was his understudy Maduro, right. Well, it's funny. There's a graph of the Venezuelan election and the USA 2020 election. And both graphs are very similar, right? And what people are saying in Venezuela is that the election was compromised. Maduro was out. He lost. This is what they're saying, right? And the gentleman that won, which, by the way, today, he was detained. I don't know if you guys know that, right? The gentleman that won, it's like somebody was saying he was kidnapped, but no, today they went and snatched him up. They went and snatched them up. Did you know that?
The citizens? No, the citizens.
No. Citizens didn't go snatch them up. The citizens right now, they're revolting. They're like, it's chaotic. They're flipping cars. They're burning stuff. The citizens know that what's going on down there is not righteous. It's not justice. You know what I mean? They know that the election was rigged. They know that evil people are trying to force their ways, and I feel like a lot of people may not agree with this, but that's what went down in 2020 here. It's just that nobody did anything about it. We didn't do anything about it, right? We just went back to watching our Netflix.
Well, things aren't bad enough like they are in Venezuela for people to actually.
But I feel like we're headed there because it's happening in Kenya, right? It's happening in Venezuela, right? One of the most.
Well, we've already arrived. I mean, if Kamala Harris gets elected president, there's going to be uproar. I just don't see a bunch of people that are patriotic just lying down and accepting another 4 years of what they've already accepted. Now,
can we go another 4 years of what we just experienced?
No.
Can we?
Absolutely.
I mean, most Americans.
Where will we be?
We're domiciled. People don't get out. I mean, us. If Kamala's president, what are you guys gonna do, right? What are we gonna do? Are we gonna go get a picket sign and go and riot for a day or two? Then we gotta get back to paying bills because we have kids. So at the end of the day, yes. There's going to be corruption all over the place. Yes, people are going to be pissed off. But to what extent is the pain so severe that we stand up for what's right? At what point do we say, okay, enough's enough. This is all a joke. It was a scary movie. Now it's like a true scary movie. And we decide to take action.
You know, it was interesting when the Trump assassination happened. I was one of the people. I was like, oh, wow, if that bullet hit him, we would have a revolution. We'd have a civil war. But if you really think about it, the Republican side, these are all people that have families, majority, right?
Have guns.
They have guns, but they have jobs. They have a comfortable life. Are they really going to risk screwing their job, their life, their business up to fight a battle that probably is going to go on for 10 years and just ruin
I was going to tell you, bro.
your whole life?
Am I
don't think they will.
crazy? Like, am I crazy? Am I missing something? Like, am I not seeing this from the right lens, I guess? Because everything that I see, right, it's pretty evil. It's pretty demonic, right? From the Olympics to this whole thing, like the bait and switch with Kamala. You know, we have to remember, Kamala Harris ran to be the presidential nominee in 2020. You want to know how many electoral votes she received?
Zero.
All of a sudden, right? Once they finally got the Democratic leaders like the Clintons and Pelosi and the Obamas to back her, finally, now she's the hottest thing since sliced bread.
They didn't. Well, it's kind of like you could say they cheated, but then they're like, the other side is like, how did they cheat? We didn't cheat. But it's like you're in a fight. Trump said it. It's a great analogy. He goes, imagine you're in a fight with somebody, you're beating their ass, and it's the 8th round, and they stop the fight. They're like, all right, let's swap the fighter.
They swapped the fighter. And, okay, and again, for how many years have we all kind of been like jokingly saying, man, we feel bad, like, the president, right? This guy's old. He's senile. Yeah. He needs to just go retire. You know, he's not really quite all there. You know, he's, you know, we're all headed there, right? At some point of our lives, we're headed to that age, right? Facts. And we've been saying this for 4 years. Then a debate happens, right? National debate happens, or maybe, you know, global debate happens, and he underperforms to a level where it's very embarrassing, and it's confirming. And all of a sudden now, the media flipped on him. The Democratic leaders flipped on him. Yeah. Bro, Hollywood flipped on him. Everybody was like, do the right thing. Be a patriot. Step down. Step down. And Joe was like that old, stubborn old man, right? I'm not stepping down. Don't drive, Grandpa. Don't drive. He's like, give me my damn keys. I'm going, right?
License is still valid.
That's right. I got one more year,
yeah,
right?
So now you have to almost wonder if the debate was actually beneficial or if it was
on purpose, because I don't trust anything that these people do at this thing. Yeah. And again, bro, please tell me, am I crazy? Because, you know, perspective is infinite, right? And if you look at my comments, you've been in my comments, bro, it's wild. It's wild that people don't see it. It's bro, it's astonishing the way that, like, I'm looking at things and then people are like, you're crazy, you're a bigot, you don't know what you're talking about, right? And they're just constantly just coming at me. Am I missing something? Why do we think a certain way and these other people don't see
politics? So, I mean, people, again, you're not going to get people to think further than the problems they have right in front of them. So that's why you can't hire salespeople that don't, like, they just suck it. They have commission breath, all these different things, because all they can focus on is the problem in front of them. And that's every single American right now. They can't focus on whether Trump is this or Kamala is that. It's like they're just focusing on, damn, my tire's flat. I need to get that changed. You know, the AC's going out. We've been in this house. Shit, they're going to raise rent on us. We've got the car payment due, but, you know, she got laid off. Her hours are being cut because of the economy. Shit, this job's going to be gone. This is non-existent in 2 years. So
but let's vote for the people that put us in this situation.
Well, again, identity
they're gonna
politics,
because of the policies.
right?
They're going to bail us out.
Identity
when
politics.
We need government assistance.
Correct. Yeah, that's the mindset behind it. And also, I was hopeful for Obama. I thought Obama was going to come in, make some great changes.
Same thing. Back in
I also
08.
didn't understand politics, right? So I just look at it from like, oh, yeah, this has been predominantly ran by white men in America. I'm like, oh, this has changed. This is what America is about.
Me too.
And you know what? And what, 08 is when Obama was elected, right?
Yep.
So I
just heard this recently about Obama. Actually, they said that when they know who they're going to pick 4 years before. So I guess, I don't know if it's a Clinton or Bush, they wanted to get into Africa. So they had to pick somebody that would be a good face to step into Africa. And then they triggered off. Obama had so many wars that triggered off in Africa. And there was a lot of coups to take over a lot of high government officials in Africa. But on top of that, how did Hitler convince so many people to be okay with thousands of people dying, right? When they were killing the Jews, millions. Yeah. There were pictures of kids watching dead bodies and dancing around the dead bodies, and they were perfectly fine. How do you manipulate that many people to be domiciled and okay with that. That's the same thing they're doing with regular Americans, right? You either tell them Trump is so bad, or you tell them because of what he says, you get to the people's emotions, you manipulate them to be against something that could possibly be better for them. Now, obviously, we all can say that politics it's not necessarily for the people. I mean, overall, I know that Trump is a better candidate ideally, but overall, politics aren't meant to help the people overall. They're in there for their own interest right now.
To serve the S&P 500.
Absolutely. I think Trump's going to get in there because he doesn't want to go to jail, and also he does think that the country would be better if he was fit to be in office, so he can pick the right people ideally. But they are planting mines and bombs when he gets in. There's so many fires to put out that you can't really make a change. So yes, he has a lot of things that he wants to change, but when he gets in there,
you only have 4 years.
That's right. Senator has 50.
Yeah, the real change doesn't come from the presidency. That's just the face of the operation. Do I believe Trump will be better? Absolutely. I think it'll be, more unity through Trump being in office. But I know that they're going to lift Kamala up and, have every basketball player and every football player and runner on every commercial and saying, this is what America needs, more unity. We've, in fact, never been more divided in all of our existence in America.
I agree, bro.
So
I agree. And you know what? People can't get past their hate for the orange man. People they don't give two shits about policy. Right?
No.
They don't care about gun rights. They don't care about, abortion. They don't care about immigration. They don't care about anything. They cannot get past their hate for the orange man.
It's brainwashing.
That's it. And you know what's crazy? Candidates come, candidates go, bro. Vote on policy. Vote on principle. You know what I mean? But they don't care about that. They don't care about that. They can't get past this hatred. Like every single every time that someone backlashes at me on Facebook, I could be talking about the Olympics and then they're like, boom, I hate Trump. I'm like, bro, like, are you obsessed with this man? You think about this dude more than any of us think about this dude.
Yeah.
It's pretty I would say it's very unhealthy at this point.
yeah,
It's disgusting.
You got MSNBC, you have CNN. I don't know if you guys have watched MSNBC, but like, I don't know if you've done it, but please do. You'll literally
It's a virus.
What they say is unbelievably like racist, unbelievably divisive. Fox is guilty of it too, but MSNBC goes like beyond. Like they're out literally calling everybody Nazis. You're a Trump supporter, you're a Nazi. He's this,
well,
he's
and they
this,
just
he's this, he's
fabricate
attacking them.
They fabricate the numbers all the time. I mean, CNN yesterday, I was at the gym on the treadmill, and I had to literally turn it off because it was like, Trump's numbers was up +2 points, and now it's only +1 points. Kamala's showing favor. It's like numbers fluctuate week after week, after policy, after the Olympics, after this, after something hits social media. But everything is just spun in a certain way for us to digest.
There's this new thing with Trump. We were talking about the video, right? So he's like, you only have to vote one time. You only have to vote one time, Christians.
Right? I'm gonna fix it so good.
And then they're like, oh yeah, he's a dictator. He said you only have to vote
stay
once.
in power for 20 years.
And what's crazy, what they didn't show.
The guy's like 80.
This is how you know it's bullshit. MSNBC and CNN will not show what Trump said when it comes to abortion, because he goes, like Ronald Reagan, I think exceptions are important for abortion, incest, rape, life of the mother.
Agreed.
The crowd was booing.
Agreed.
They were booing him.
Agreed.
They didn't show that. Why? Because they're pushing that he wants a nationwide abortion ban.
It's
that's how they're scaring people to vote for the other side.
We've been, watching that show with our ladies on Peacock, and it's the same ad every single time after for Carrie Lake and these two people who look like they're probably brother and sister, talking about how they couldn't call it for how you see it. Two people saying, "Oh, if Carrie Lake was elected, she would ban abortion." It's like, I believe there's exceptions to the rule. I believe that if you choose to have a child and you do an adult thing, and because I believe that children are all blessings, right? So I think there's exceptions to the rule, like, rape, incest, all these different things. If the child's not going to live a good life growing up, right, there's all these exceptions. But they don't want you to see that. They want more division. They want Kamala to be the face of everything moving forward, the face of unity. And unfortunately, right now, I was listening to PBD's podcast. I meant to actually send it in the group chat yesterday. Did you guys know that there's over 160 days out of the year that are dedicated to the LGBTQ community?
No, I thought it was just a month.
Yeah.
It's 160 plus days
Hey,
that are dedicated.
you can
to
thank
that.
Obama for that, because that's one thing that he did accomplish as a
You can
president.
thank Michelle.
Michael?
Okay, let's be real here, because it's a 50-50 for me. Is Michelle a man? Like for real? Like we're not. No, seriously.
Is Michael Michelle? Is
Okay,
what you
is
meant to ask.
Michelle a man? Has anybody proven that Michelle Obama is in fact a man?
Has
And
she
his
identified-
Has she
name is Michael?
debunked the theory, just like Macron's wife?
She's never spoke about it. She's never spoke against it. No.
Okay, right.
Okay, is that video of her jumping up and down and her thing swinging? Is that a real video or AI? Is that real or AI?
Probably.
It's probably AI, but
Okay.
but we're
That thing
still
was
it's up for
big, boy.
discussion, right? Like all this stuff with gay rights came out heavy when Obama got in office.
What? Yeah. Why was Obama so infatuated with gay people?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily Obama. I think that it's an agenda. Obama's probably gay. He probably sleeps with men, but when you can, and we can almost 9
You
out
know,
of 10
Garrett.
that. You know, Garrett,
You know, Garrett.
the country would be a
We have
lot
to
better
think
off if we all
past our
slept with
own
men.
differences.
But here's the deal: is to have an infestation ruin a country, it takes using somebody, right? It's not that Obama was just sitting there and he's like, "Man, we could really get the LGBTQ community." That came from the puppeteers, right? The puppet masters that want the puppeteers to go and do these things. And who better than the guy that has been documented well through college, sleeping with men, has love letters to men, all these different things. But what that does long term now is now we have at the Olympics, almost a decade later, actually a decade later, now we have little children on the front screen, and I wouldn't have even seen it because I wasn't
A
watching it.
parody of
Unless
The
it-
Last Supper.
Yeah, a parody of The Last Supper. And so
At first they denied it, and then they admitted it, and then they apologized.
yeah, it's just
Disgusting.
it doesn't necessarily that's what people don't understand is it doesn't have to do with gay people. It has to do with making our society weak, convincing men that, hey, you're confused, you like men, really, you just don't know that you like men yet, so we're going to tell you. Like Megan Fox's all 3 of her kids identify as trans.
Yeah.
Do you know statistically how impossible that is
That's
for every single
crazy.
one of your
That's
children?
Hollywood for you, bro.
But that's what they're doing, right? And they've convinced Hollywood to act this out. They've convinced us through the media.
There's books. There's children's books that talk about this.
Bro, Coco Melon is turning, pushing the gay agenda, right? And people think that we're homophobes.
But so
We're
for
not.
me, it's not. For me, it's
We're
not
not
necessarily
homophobes,
a
bro.
gay thing. The gay thing is just a weapon to use to make men weak and to make men and women to stop populating, right? Like all of these things are so much deeper. We know that a lot of these policies are to reduce population in the world. Like a lot of these policies and a lot of these things that we're putting in the food, a lot of these farmlands that we okay to have this, and China
Why?
can buy farmland
Why-
here, but we can't buy farmland in China.
But
and
why? Why do we want to reduce population in the world?
To live
I think if you look at a lot of the
For what?
ultra wealthy people, and obviously this is going down a rabbit hole now, but you look at the ultra wealthy people, and you're super wealthy, I'm super wealthy, he's super wealthy. Hey man, if we just populated the world, we mixed and mingled with our families, we could have the whole world. We don't need to share the world with all these people. Now obviously that's a rabbit hole that you go down, but regardless, the LGBTQ ZYJFT squared
LMNOP.
community it's not necessarily about being gay. It's about weaponizing it towards the children, flaunting it and sexualizing it in front of them so that we can create a society of immorality and degeneracy. And then it's just like for me being incarcerated, if something happened to Zady right here, and like something very tragic, someone came in with a gun, if you guys hadn't experienced that might be like just life altering to you. But I've already seen that from how I grew up.
You're a
so
little
I'm
more
desensitized
desensitized.
Have you
to
seen
it.
like people get shanked?
Well, so now you see gay kids on the shows and this and that, and our kids are not sitting here saying, well, that's weird. Like, why isn't it a man and a girl, right? Like, they just say, oh, that's how the world is, right? So they've become desensitized, and they've used it as a weapon to really attack our children is what it is.
I'll tell you what, my daughters are not desensitized. They're growing up in a good Christian household with mom and dad, more importantly, with 2 happy adults that actually love each other. That's the example that they have. I'll tell you what, I was watching a Viking movie, right? Actually, it was Vikings Valhalla. And I think two dudes were just, was it Vikings
Going at
Valhalla? Might have been. Was it that one?
Going at it
Hold on.
nasty style.
Shut up. I'm trying to concentrate. There was two
I'm
dudes.
helping you, bro.
No,
You're
no.
writing
Oh,
each
For
other.
Those About to Die. I was watching For Those About to Die on
such a
Peacock,
great show.
right?
Yeah, such a great
And
show.
it's a great
Shout
show,
out.
right? And the weaker brother, right? The weaker brother, he's gay, right? He keeps that little Greek lover boy around him, right?
Yeah.
My 6-year-old walks in as these dudes are macking on the television. She goes, "Ew, Dad, is that a boy kissing a boy?" And I was like, "Yeah, baby." And I immediately have to turn it off. I go, "Yeah, baby. It's absolutely disgusting and it's wrong. I'm sorry you had to see that."
But this is a good show.
But you see, that's how my kids are growing up, right?
Correct.
By nature. By the way, I've never even gave her that talk. She's 6 years old. I haven't really talked to her about sexuality, right? But naturally, this little girl's like, "Ew, is that a boy kissing a boy?" That's how this society used to operate. Now it's normal. Bro, D Wade, he loves the fact that his kids are like degenerates, right? Or his child or whatever. Magic Johnson, and I know I may come off as judgmental, bro, but I'm gonna call a spade a spade.
Well, I would be fucking sad. Like, if
Bro,
my son came home, like, I would still love him because he is my flesh and
100%.
my blood. But I would literally be so pressed. I'd be like, "Oh fuck, we're never having grandkids." You know, every single time he like goes to kiss his boyfriend, I gotta look away. You know,
I don't think you would ever be comfortable with it.
Isn't Elon Musk doing that right now though?
Doing what?
With his son, daughter.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Drawing that line.
Well, good.
As a father.
You have to. You know, I told Phil this weekend.
At the end of the day, it's our. We have to take accountability for our children.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so
sure.
Magic Johnson, Dwayne Wade, what is it? Megan Fox. Megan Fox. All you Hollywood slime balls. It's your fault that your children are who they are. Period.
Well, it's the producers that have molested them, which have put that in their head.
You're not
and then
letting
now
me.
it's okay.
You're
for
not
their
letting
kids
me
to be that
finish.
way.
By the way, about EJ. Have you seen Magic Johnson's son? This is a 6'10" transgender, bro.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen this person
scary.
on heels?
Let's pull up a
He
video.
or she
I
is
was
about
looking at
7'3"
Zady's
in
Hinge account, and I
heels.
think he popped up on there.
What do you think other countries
pull
think
up a
about this
picture.
country? When they watch from afar, they watch the Olympics, they watch America. Like, what do you look at?
I can tell you
country?
because I
What
just spoke to
country?
somebody. By the way, this is getting really good, and I appreciate this. I really do. I feel like this is something that I needed to kind of just vent. Right? I've been going through a lot this past week, you know, with all this situation that's going on in the world, because I feel like I have a much higher calling than to be arguing with like normal human beings, right? Ephesians 6:11, right? Which is, I'll read it to you. I actually pulled it up. And I don't know if you saw a video that I made. I said, hey, whether you're gay, transgender, drag queen, I said, my fight is not with you, right? Ephesians 6:11, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. You have to understand, brother, I feel like a lot of these dark spiritual beings, they position themselves in places of power. And that's who our fight is against. This is a spiritual war. And everybody's confusing it. Oh, you're gay, so I don't like it. It's not. No, dude. It's much bigger than that.
You know,
right?
In the Bible, it doesn't tell us that people were not created equal based off of their sexual proclivity, I think is the word, right? But we also know that homosexuality is not something divine. And I was talking to Brooklyn last week, and you could take the church out of it, you could take scripture out of it, and you could just go on a common sense level. And to me, if you just look at nature and how God created the earth, and he created the animals, and he created us, and you just look at the natural production and reproduction of nature, well, it's always a male and a female counterpart.
Is there homosexual animals out there?
Yeah.
Bill Gates just created the. Bill Gates just launched the hermaphrodite
the
mosquitoes.
beluga whale.
There have been hermaphrodites. Frogs are hermaphrodites.
No,
But he launched new mosquitoes that were hermaphrodites, and you think about a mosquito that's genetically modified to be a hermaphrodite to suck your blood, then inject your blood in his blood, and what is that transfusion?
Oh, no.
And mixture. Yeah, he launched, I think.
Who is this?
like
Bill
10
Gates?
10 billion mosquitoes.
Bill Gates did this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
So
almost
They're
15
in Key
years
West.
ago.
They're
Bro,
Key West.
what's going on
look,
with
if
this
you
guy,
take- if
bro?
you take
Population of the world.
if you
like
take
Garrett
two
said.
male dogs and you don't neuter them, okay, and you keep them together, eventually they're gonna fuck.
Oh my god.
I mean,
don't
that's
know.
just what it
Have
is,
you
bro.
have you ran this?
I had two
experiment,
male
bro?
dogs, and that's one of them was like
crazy.
raping the other one. I had to like
Bro, that's
take him apart,
wild.
beat
go
his
to
ass,
Zady's
make sure
house.
he's not doing
Yeah,
that.
I'm not going to
Guys,
your
we're
backyard.
sorry
No,
for
I
all
mean-
the dog owners out there.
I mean, I'm just saying, like
Bro,
that's.
your backyard is a circus.
I'm just saying, it's natural.
Your backyard is an
for-
abomination.
You brought it up. He's brought up animals. I'm telling you.
I don't know. I was locked up for
dogs.
3 years straight, and I never once like rolled
that's
over in
3
the
years,
morning
bro.
and looked
Bro,
over
like-
at my celly, and
Bro,
I
if
was
you're
like,
like,
But
damn,
what if you had
bro.
life?
You've been
Hold on,
squatting?
Garrett,
You've
what
been
if you had life,
squatting?
bro? What if you had life?
if I had life,
No
bro,
conjugal visits.
I just gotta stand on business and fucking stroke that thing.
That's
until
it, baby.
Yeah,
That's a
That's
sin
it.
too.
You got it.
So
Right.
either way, you're sinning, bro.
Look, I'm already incarcerated. I'd rather that sin with myself than fucking have to wake up to my fucking celly every day and say, "Hey,
Bro, that's
sorry about
crazy,
last
bro.
night.
I'm
I know we
sorry.
pushed hard."
What if your
Oh my
what if your
God.
celly identified as a woman?
Listen, real quick. Leviticus.
I gotta stand on business.
Leviticus 18:22, right? This is what it says. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. I don't care, and there's what's crazy, bro, is that there's so many Christians that defend sin. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that we don't love gay people, right? It's not like we love the sinner. We don't love the sin, right?
Correct.
And that's what you run into, especially now. We're so desensitized as Christians, right, as Americans, that we actually we support sin. This country is becoming like Sodom and Gomorrah. Think about it, right? Yeah. Think about the last days of Rome. If you watch, for those about to die on Peacock, what was happening during the last days of Rome before it crumbled?
Bunch of brothels.
Everything that's happening here right now in America.
Correct.
Gambling, homosexuality, corruption, right? Everything.
Well, the one thing we're not doing is we don't have like a gladiator
we
with
do.
slaves
We do.
and then we
We
kill
do.
them.
We do.
don't kill them.
Give them bread, give them games to distract them.
I know,
We
but I'm
have
saying-
the NFL. We have the NBA.
But we
Did you
don't
know the
kill people.
WNBA is like 85% gay?
Yeah.
And then you get a good girl like Caitlin
54.
Clark that comes in, and what do they do to her? They make her feel like an outsider.
They Larry Bird.
Like, oh, you're a straight woman that can
I didn't
hoop.
know Angel Reese was a lesbian. That was interesting.
Angel Reese is a lesbian?
Yeah.
No.
They were at the
Interesting.
What was-
All-Star game. She was holding hands with her girlfriend.
What was that lady that?
going on,
What was that
bro?
basketball player that got arrested in Russia?
Huh?
What was that basketball player that got arrested in
Brittany?
Russia?
Brittany
yeah,
Griner?
Brittany Griner. So
She's kneeling for the.
she's-
She's kneeling on the flag
So
after
this is-
we released a freaking.
She's about to be a dad.
terrorist.
That's what.
Huh? Oh, she's about to be a dad.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
saying-
I
no,
saw
I'm
that
saying-
video where she says, "I'm gonna be the pups."
Well, no, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying like America.
What?
Be the pups.
I'm saying America
Damn, bro,
freed
you got a
her
great life.
from Russia, and she still doesn't honor the flag. That's ass backwards. What is that? So should we have left her there?
Bro, that's
I don't understand.
that's disgusting.
Well, to me, I also look at the great things of what's going on because somebody has to continue to look at some of the great things, and I think that also right now people are getting closer to God. People are getting closer to standing for their values and their beliefs, and ultimately. I even told Phil because everybody knows I haven't really been in the church. Like I just, been on my own journey of finding God. And it's like, I now would rather be in the church every weekend. I would rather my kids be around these type of people because it just, with everything that's going on, what environment do you want your children in? Do you want your children in this type of environment where everything is accepted, everything is tolerated, or do you want them in an environment where there's actual rules, there's code of conduct,
There's a
values?
spiritual foundation and there's sexual morality,
Correct.
right? If you're attending the right church, I feel like the church You know, for you have to understand,
even those lines are being blurred these
they
days.
are, and you know, and that's why, you know, that's not healthy. But what I'll say is, bro, just as a spiritual foundation for our children, it's a very healthy place to just take them.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Just to take them. And I'll tell you what, man, you know, anytime that our church, that we've had questions about our church, we are very quick to ask the right questions about, hey, what's going on there? Right? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? You know what I mean? Right? I mean, but you know, again, the whole thing about church, you know, Jesus doesn't care. He didn't care too much for church. He cares about relationship. However, right, biblically, it says where two or more gather, I am there with you, right?
Right.
So that's why I will tell you this. I went to Vegas, right? I went to Vegas last week, and I immediately felt the energetic frequency of Vegas. And then it's so weird, bro. Like when God says that when you become of Christ, you stop becoming part of this world. We are not of this world. You start to see things differently, bro. You're like, damn, wow, that dude,
Christ
man, he's going through a tough time. Wow, look at all the drinking, look at all the gambling, look at all the sexual immorality that's going on. Look at this, look at that, look at that. And then you start to feel that, right? I felt an immediate shift as soon as I went back to church this last Sunday. I immediately felt like an elevation of my frequency. Immediately. So I went from like, oh man, did I not get sick when I came back from Vegas?
Yeah.
I got sick. And I'm not going to say it's entirely because of the energetic frequency, and I consider myself an empath and I can feel everybody's energy and stuff, right? It's not even about that. I'm just telling you, bro, there's a huge difference that when you do go into the church, right, and people are operating in unison together in a very fruitful and joyful and peaceful energy, you do feel that. You feel the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, I also think we're heading to times of the only way to exterminate this virus is to
What virus?
Well, there's I would say there's a conscious belief of acceptance of what used to be degrading, right? What used to be something that you wouldn't tolerate, we now accept it. And because the virus is spreading like wildfire, only to get rid of it is to exterminate it, right? And which means to abolish.
We're trying, brother.
Well, I mean,
we're trying, but it seems like it's an uphill climb.
Well, what's going to happen next, to me, in my opinion, is massive war. Because this is all around the world. There's a shift, right? There's a lot of elections. Things are happening. People of power are starting to fall, or people are coming together that were at the elite level that don't no longer agree with the other elites. So because elites are fighting, it's the equivalent of two CEOs or CFOs going at it, and people can look at it and be like, oh wow, these powerful people are now seeing who's more powerful. But it all depends on how many of the, I guess you can call them ants, the people, right? How many people can you get on your side, right, to sway that idea of you being right or wrong? So going into this next year and into next year, there's going to be a lot of things of an unknown, right? Because it is election year and they can press whatever button they want. There's going to be a lot of attacks, but at the end of the day, as entrepreneurs, as believers, as conscious individuals, we have to be able to do our best to shift that through prayer, right, through action, through growing the business, to providing jobs, to pouring into people, because everybody's a reflection of who we are, right? So if I don't pour into you, there's nothing pouring back into me. And if we don't do it, then we're going to get caught into the vortex or into the tornado of this feeling, right? That icky, sticky feeling that everybody's going through. I know that right now, as we are talking, people are going through the hardest time in their entire life.
That's right.
People cannot afford to pay their light bill. We have people that call us and say, hey, I gave up. I cannot even afford to pay the light bill.
I haven't paid it in months.
That's sad, bro.
That's where people are at right now.
But Kamala Harris can raise $200 million in 1 week.
She can also get black voters when she doesn't like black people. Her husband is nothing close to melanin.
He's white.
Right?
Yeah.
And not just white, he's pasty.
Yeah.
And she has never once, she only likes black people during times where she needs their vote.
Well, look at her track record. How many black men does she put away for weed?
Yeah.
Over 1,500.
Montel Williams at one point.
She dated Montel Williams.
Well, she didn't date him. She was in an open relationship with another woman and shared him.
That was
but that also
his
happened
daughter.
with, was
That
it
was
Willie
his daughter.
Brown, the senator, at the time?
Something like that.
Is his name Willie Brown?
No, that video with Montel and Kamala, that other girl is Montel's daughter.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Still, I mean, she was still riding the Montel boat.
This is
so
how
you know what I
we
mean?
do it.
No, that's
But
not
also,
Montel.
you know, I
That's
think
Montel
that
Jordan.
Montel Jordan.
Montel Williams at the talk show.
Oh, my bad.
So
Wrong Montel.
You know, the only way to even get a grip on what's going on
See, we have
is
fact
number
checkers,
one
bro.
to start in
check.
your home, though. You know, one thing that I really appreciated about the church's message this last Sunday is, and I'll go back and forth with older people in the saunas while I'm at the gym because they'll complain about the younger generation, and then I'll just kindly like nudge them and I'll be like, "Didn't you raise your children?"
You always say
Like,
that.
didn't-
You love saying that, don't
Well,
you?
yeah, because people
Oh, he loves
people
it.
lack
Yes.
accountability.
Give him
right?
10 more years, he can't say it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well,
when he's a
and
grandfather,
look,
it's
and
fun.
I'll take full accountability how my kids turn out. You know why?
Same.
Because I know that I spent my time actively coaching them without
That's
a
right.
roadmap. I was actively seeking God. You know, Daisy said last night, she said, "Oh, I love how every week you become, you know, you're looking to become more of a man of God." And I said, "I already am a man of God." I said, "What I'm doing is chasing after God's heart like David did. So I don't need to become more of a man of God. I already am a man of God.
That's
I'm
right.
just chasing after his heart more and more." But, you know, the message was very simple is most people like to sit here with their kids and be like, "Hey, you shouldn't do that." But they don't coach, right? They sit on the couch and they tell with their words and they do these things. So if you want your children to believe in God, well, maybe you should believe in God more. Maybe you should pray more. Maybe you should teach them more. Maybe you should show them why God is important. If you want them to be hardworking, then maybe you should start working hard. If you want them to care about money, then maybe you should teach them how to care about money, right? But the fact of the matter is we'll say all these things. You can go to church and you can feel good in the moment, but sitting at home and your kid telling you they're pissed off at you and all these things, and it's easier to doom scroll on your phone and go through all these processes than it is to sit and admit that you're failing as a parent, you're failing as a forget parent, you're failing as a coach, right? Because that's ultimately what we are, is we're just coaches to God's children. And so that would be my thing, to, you know, remain hopeful and understand that you are in a position of power in your home. And the more people that take power and dominion back over their own home and their own lives, that will spread through a community, and then a community spreads through the world and the nation, and that's how you actually adapt change.
Garrett for president.
Yeah, so what you're talking about.
They let Trump, you know, I'm
Yeah.
Got
in
my
there.
vote, bro.
So that's one of the most difficult things to do, because everybody claims to be a Christian, especially now it's becoming a popular thing, which, by the way, I love, right? I love the transformation and the transition that's happening, but you can't be like Ryan Garcia, bro, where you're constantly like, right? You're constantly talking about God and glorifying God, but you're representing God incorrectly,
Correct.
right?
You wouldn't
You're
say
getting
those
into
things, yeah.
altercations with one of your baby mamas. You're drinking, you know, to
So
the
you're
point where
calling
you're
women bitches publicly.
to the point
I
where
mean,
your
just-
father is complaining about your drinking issues, right? You're wilding out. You are, you know, again, I respect the fact that he, you know, because no Christian is perfect, right? Like I will say that there's no Christian that's perfect besides Christ, but brother, he needs to represent. If you're going to call yourself a Christian, then you need to represent us a little bit.
But then
I got
again,
a
you know,
question
his
for you
dad
guys.
knew how to coach him in the ring, but did his dad coach him as a believer of God, right? And so
Oof.
it all comes back to coaching.
I think a lot of this stuff with this, like gay people, transgender people, they haven't been accepted by Christians. Like, Christians always try to change them. So now they're alone. Hold on, let me finish. So now they're alone. So they're like, where do I go? So now you could have somebody come in and manipulate them and say, we accept you.
Just
but,
vote for us.
But, and then all of the things that are not good for society
do
or not
that,
helping.
vote
Well, if
for
you have
us.
160 plus days dedicated to you, you
Bro,
have
I gotta
become a
look that up,
secular
bro.
religion.
That's crazy.
You have
man,
there's
I
a
said
gay
that, yeah,
uncle
it's
day.
true.
There's that if you have over 160
Gay Uncle
days,
Day,
like you
wow.
think about it, that's a secular religion at
There's a
that point.
Gay
They're getting
Uncle Day?
together to celebrate something more than they do every other Sunday for
Fat Uncle
church.
Day?
I still think we haven't figured out why and I'm guilty of this, why the Christian community is one of the most judgmental communities. And I say that because I was one of them. Why were we programmed to point the finger at somebody else, knowing that us ourselves have our own issues at home? Why do we want to delegate our pain on other people because we can't accept the pain that we go through or the challenges that we go through? Or we call sin, what is sin just means, like you said in one podcast, sin means missing the target. So we can't even define sin anymore. right? Because people aren't even aware of the thoughts that they're thinking in their own conscious to be able to exploit and say, hey, I am nobody perfect, so who am I to point at you or at you, knowing when the door is closed, I am a different person, right? I'm committing something that I don't want you to commit because I need to point it at you if you do commit it.
Well, it says in the Bible, before you judge the speck in your brother's eye, remember you have a log in yours, or something like that along those lines.
And Yeshua
Guys.
even said, he said, let that the one that cast, the one that's sinless to throw the first stone, right?
Jesus said that.
Yeah, Jesus. That's what he said, Yeshua.
Yeah.
So we've all sinned. So how can we sit there and call out somebody else's sin? It's like, the devil's in you. Yeah, well, the devil's in us too. The devil's in
Well, I don't
everybody.
think it's calling it out. I think that is the issue with any religion, right? And what pushes people away. But Jesus did love the sinner, right? He just didn't
More
love
than
the sin. And so when I was listening to PBD's podcast, the thing about it is the reason why you can't really get to the people that are in homosexuality and things like that is because it typically starts off with, you're wrong, you're this. It's like you go to any leadership summit, any of them, they all pretty much tell you the same thing. A great leader meets you where you are. Obviously, I'm not going to meet you in homosexuality, but I'm going to meet you.
God.
I'm going to meet you at the point of your life where you're in the depths of hell and you don't understand what's right or wrong, or maybe you're being brainwashed and programmed. And I'm not going to meet you at this level where it's like, well, what you're doing is wrong and you need to do this. I'm going to just have an understanding, empathetic heart. I'm going to pray over you. I'm going to tell you why I believe that you could be doing better and things like that. But that's why I was pushed away from the church for so long, because it's always the same people that are saying, well, that's wrong and that's wrong and that's wrong. But usually 9 out of 10 times they don't do anything to fix it. So I hate hearing that from people that don't like to take action. Number two is, what is your plan, right? Like, besides just calling out. And that's why I like when people can come together and say, hey, okay, cool. Like in business, we wouldn't just walk into an L10 and be like, well, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And then we just all keep going around and we're like, yeah, that's fucked up.
That's usually
That's
IBS.
wrong, right? But at some point we would sit here and we'd say, okay, guys, we've talked in circles now about saying what's wrong. What's the plan of action?
What are we gonna do to fix it?
Correct.
Hey guys, disgustingly, there is a Gay Uncle's Day. It is the second Sunday in August. In 2024, that happens to fall on August 11th. There is a Gay Uncle's Day.
Of course it would be on my brother's birthday month.
Did you hear what I just said?
God, yeah.
There's a Gay Uncle's Day.
What do they get a cake?
What do we
Look it up,
celebrate?
Google it.
What do we celebrate? Can I
Just
identify
just
as
the
gay?
Bro,
fact
what
that
is
there's
going
100
on in the world?
There's one day to celebrate our country, right? And the Marines and
That's
the servicemen,
crazy,
but
dude.
we have gay uncle days and things like that. And so
Hey, it's World Obesity Day. We get to celebrate that on March.
Let's
4th.
go.
That
Let's
is
go.
worthy of
That's
celebration.
great.
Really
that's where we're gonna
Being
really
obese is worthy of celebration.
Shout out Ozepic.
March 4th, Zady, you and I are gonna have a feast.
This is
Bro,
ridiculous.
I don't know where we're headed, bro. But what I will tell you is this.
Purgatory. All
I'll
of
tell
us.
you, right? God knows what is
Hell
this
in a
going to look
hand-
like in 20
in a
years.
handbasket.
Well, Biden said it. We're going to Hades in a handbasket.
There you go.
Well,
all the gays.
listen.
That's what he
You
said.
want to know? Do you want
one
to
talks
know?
about
Do you want to know what those people used against us?
He said that, bro, not me.
Okay,
Just quoting him.
in a war, right? Because we are in a spiritual war. In a war, right? When the U.S. military goes and they engage into some kind of war with other countries, right? There is what's called the rules of engagement. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
What does that consist of? It consists of a lot of red tape, a lot of compliance. Yes, rules of engagement. These people know that we, as followers, as believers, have our own rules of engagement. Right? I'll give you an example.
They know our playbook.
They know that we're never going to take it to that level.
Well, we're gonna turn the other cheek.
We're going to turn the other cheek, right? What did I say? When I said, hey, I don't agree with what's going on in the Olympics, boycott them. That's it. I didn't go burn a building. I didn't flip a car,
well,
right?
so that's why I say that
I was just like,
everybody's
boycott. That's it.
everybody's journey is different, and that's why my journey is still different with the church. Is I believe that and Pastor Mark Driscoll said this himself. He said there are people.
Is that where you
are-
went?
Huh?
Did
No,
you go to
I just
Driscoll?
went
We should go to
CCP.
Driscoll together.
Yeah, I'll definitely
I'm
go
down.
over there.
I know it's a
Is he an
20-minute
AC?
drive for me, but
But I
might be
do
worth it.
believe this in my heart. I mean, I have Soldier of God literally tatted on my legs. Some men are anointed for conflict, and I do believe that. And so
Mike Tyson.
I don't. Again, I'm on my journey. I ask God for wisdom, discernment, and give it to me. Give me what I need on my journey to figure out how to get a closer relationship. But I'm not a big fan of the whole turn the other cheek thing, especially when my child is being programmed by transgenders and doing all these. And maybe I'll get there, maybe I won't. I'm not sure, but I know that regardless, I do believe in Jesus Christ. But for me, the whole tolerance thing, everybody else can have that. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of them programming our children with sexual ideologies and all these different
Disgusting.
things.
Yeah, we got to keep having these conversations. The famous philosopher Carl Jung, he says, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, by praying or talking about Jesus or be good, but by making darkness conscious, right? If we don't go to that dark corner and shine light on it, then we let it collect dust, right, and let it build up to the point where now that piece of mold has now exported itself to the entire ecosystem, and now it becomes a virus, right? And then there's acceptance of the virus, and now it's like, oh, it's there, we just let it happen and we let it take over. We have to keep shining the light on it. Otherwise, we're going to fall into the pits of what everybody else is okay with.
How do we
quick.
do that? Wait, go ahead.
Real quick, let me give you a perfect example. I'm going back to rules of engagement, right? Perfect example. This whole thing that's going down in Venezuela, right? Where this guy, Nicolas Maduro, right, who's kind of people say is kind of a dictator, loses the election, right? What does he do to this other gentleman that won the election rightfully, fairly, Freddie Superlano?
Raped him in a bathroom.
Rules of engagement don't exist for Nicolas Maduro. This guy Freddie gets snatched up. Boom. It's either kidnap or detain, whatever you want to call it. But see what I'm saying? There is no rules of engagement for that side, right? How about the Trump situation? Were there rules of engagement there by that side? They're like, plan A is, we're going to slander him, discredit him, right? Ruin his reputation. Plan B is we're going to throw him in jail, right? Plan B didn't work. What's plan C? There's no rules of engagement on that side, right? And that's what makes it very difficult. We're fighting an unfair war at the end of the day.
The war that we live here, the war that we fight in here on a daily basis, the war that we're fighting here on earth, it's not going to be over until the second coming of Jesus. Jesus Christ's kingdom comes down to us, right? Unfortunately, that's it. It doesn't matter what we think. It doesn't matter what we say. At the end of the day, this world will never be of Jesus.
Yeah.
This world will never be of God.
For sure.
The kingdom that we're supposed to live in happiness is beyond our eternity. It's not this little piece of life that we live.
Yeah, it's beyond the 3D for sure.
Yeah.
I would almost guarantee everybody has children in here. I would almost guarantee as a Christian, your rules of engagement probably go out the window if your daughters are picked up from school by someone that has kidnapped them. And so for me, everything sounds good in theory, but the only time to really test something is in a wartime. And so, there's a reason why they have the saying soldier's eyes, and you could look into a man's eyes and see the depths of where he's willing to go and what he's willing to do. And the fact of the matter is like the whole turning the other cheek thing sounds good in theory, but we go and send people off to wars every day in the name of God, and we cheer for them, right? But in our society, in our world, here on the home front, if we were to defend something in the name of God, and through that, we would be demonized. And so I understand that that is just something that is used as a weapon against Christians. And if Christians got over that part, you probably would see a lot less tolerance, right? And so for me, I'll never be one of those tolerant, accepting Christians. I just don't want... I wouldn't be a tolerant, accepting Catholic, a tolerant, accepting Muslim. I wouldn't be any of them.
That's dangerous, bro, because back in the day when Christianity was in the 19th century, I think, right? We'd be like, you're a witch! Burn her! Like, you're gay, let's beat the gay out of him.
Oh my
Correct.
God.
That's
we also were uncivilized.
Jeez,
I mean,
dude.
we're not uncivilized animals anymore. We're not in survival anymore. yes, we can be animals, but we also incarcerate animals, right? So we teach people how to be animals. We have all the mechanisms to make people smart, happy, healthy, fed. We have plenty of resources. We're not lacking resources on Earth anymore. Now, in the 1900s, the 1800s, the 1700s, 1600s, yeah, they were lacking resources. I mean,
toilet paper.
They were lacking common sense, and so for us, it's like we don't lack those things anymore.
I got a question
They were
for
full
you.
of shit. That's why they had no toilet paper.
Oh my God, bro.
So the Romans created the public bathroom.
Jesus. Are you done?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, happy birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday!
birthday,
Zady, brother.
thank you.
Can we sing a
Gentlemen,
quick
thank you.
happy birthday on the pod real quick?
Oh my God.
Happy birthday to
Mr. President.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Zaddy Daddy.
Most interesting man in the industry.
Happy birthday to you.
Throw
Thank
some
you,
auto
guys.
tune on that.
Thank you.
So,
thank you, man.
guys, I
Appreciate
want to close it down with this, right? A couple things. You know, we like we're all work. We work. We come to work every day. We're grinding every day. Solar, real estate, all kinds of different things, right? Let me ask you this. I've noticed this. I'm like, dude, where's all the influencers at? Why aren't they all? How come none of them are talking about this?
it. They lose money.
By the way, I hear it from my own sales people, right? But I just feel like you know, my purpose is much bigger than just making money, if that makes any sense, right? And it's not easy. I'll be honest with you. It's not easy to you know, to shine light on these things. It's not. It has a toll. It takes a toll on you. It really does, because for the most part, politics is what? It's mostly negative, right? And in the things that are going on, like, it's mostly negative. Like, do you think I want to shine light on the fact that there are drag queens in the open ceremonies of the Olympics, right? No. I would have rather, like, man, what happened to the old, you know, like, oh man, LeBron was waving the flag, and, you know, Snoop Dogg was lighting up the, you know, the what do you call it?
He was lighting
The
up the
flame,
joint,
right? Whatever,
yeah, the
right?
joint.
Yeah, exactly, but that's not what they gave us, right? That's not what they gave, and they gave. That's not what they gave us on purpose, right? So, what I want to honor today is the fact that we do talk about these things when other companies and organizations refuse to talk about these things, and this is the real battle that's going on right now, and this is the battle that's gone on since the days of Adam and Eve. You know what I mean? So for that, you know, I just want to let you guys know that I know it's not easy to, like, talk about these things and shine light on these things, but I feel like it's what God wants us to do.
Well, God also gave you dominion over the world. So if you actually have belief in God, then you would speak on what is true. And so the one thing about that, though, is as a person that speaks the truth, you also can't sit and complain about the ramifications of what comes from speaking the truth.
That's right.
So if you know that it's going to hit your pockets, that's something you take on the chin. And you say, you know what, I knew this was what was going to happen because that was God's will and not my will.
But has anybody ever regretted speaking the truth?
No.
I don't think so.
I think
it comes with pain, but there's a quote that says, "Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain." Right, and the truth can be fearful to expose because your fear of judgment, family, friends, criticism. You almost have to die to your old self because now that person is lost. Because people say, well, because you speak your truth and I can't voice my opinion, I can't speak to you because I don't agree with what you say. And it does take a toll on you, right? You have to run a business, but you also want to shine light because you care about the world in totality.
That's right.
Right. So you have now the world on your back, and it's a weight that nobody can measure the amount of pain that you carry mentally that works on you physically. So,
Which, by the way, also is conflict. Conflict does not just mean that you're going into a war and you're hurting people. Conflict is having hard conversations, right? Healthy conversations. Right. So when I say, anointed for conflict, it's not just, you grab your gun or grab your sword. It's you stand up for what you believe in and you stand firm in your values and beliefs and you say, this is unacceptable and I won't stand for it.
And and I got to let you guys know that as you can see in my comments, I believe that I'm being as graceful as I can be and as respectful as I can be in my comments.
Sometimes.
I'm not insulting anybody or calling anybody by
Indirectly.
names, bro. Huh?
Indirectly.
Whatever.
But I mean, that being said, I'll give you your flowers. Kudos to you because of the things you talk about, you literally eliminate half of your income. You literally do that. You alienate 50% of the market.
Correct.
But you don't allow that to determine how you're going to live your life, and I think that's.
But what is it?
That's
Also, this is what I
admirable,
tried to explain to Adrian the other day. By the way, it's not his fault. By the way, he's not coming at me in any way. I was trying to explain this in a meeting the other day. I said, yeah, I eliminate half of what could be, right? But at the same time,
But you don't burden what once was.
there it is. but at the same time, what happens to those people that actually honor the fact that we're willing to stand up, right? They like, that's my guy.
True.
I trust that dude. Have you noticed that lately?
Yeah.
Right? As you're speaking the truth, people are like, you know what? I trust this dude over that dude because he's willing to talk about the hard things. I've noticed that over the past couple weeks.
But getting back to Michael Jordan, LeBron James. LeBron James speaks politically. Michael Jordan doesn't. Michael Jordan sells more shoes than LeBron.
For sure. So with that being said, fellas,
same, bro.
grateful for today's episode. I know we got to
Nothing
wind
to
it
do
down.
with anything.
I know we
money.
got to
It's
wind it
like, what do
down. This episode was much needed, and I want to consistently get back in here and talk about the things that matter, right? Until next. Oh, by the way, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. We don't charge a fee to bring this to you every single week, right? Subscribe, share, comment, like. That is the fee that we charge. And thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week.